Hey guys, so we're going to be installing the universal TV stand. Step 1, we gotta put the bottom part and connect it to the middle piece with some screws, 3 screws to be exact. And here's the bottom and the middle, and there's the screws, or what have you. Some of the pieces of the many pieces of this whole entire puzzle. And there's the little bottom piece and the other bottom piece, and I overshot the other bottom piece. And there it is. Once again, magic. Alright, so the very first thing is just looking at it. Scissors. Don't forget your scissors. Very important, because you can't cut plastic without something sharp. Alright, so the first thing is we're going to cut this little piece here, and we're going to take all these little pieces out so, we can actually use them. They're pretty useless inside the bag. So here we have the screws, as well as the bottom stickery parts, which we stick to the bottom. That's why they have a sticker thing on them. And then there's a little piece that we need, which is like a hex key of sorts. I don't know exactly what number it is, but that's what kind of screws these are. I don't know why they didn't just make them Phillips screws, but whatever. Universal TV stand company wants to be fancy, and that's fine. Got to do a few fancy tricks here with scissors. Alright, put those away. Okay, so now let's try to figure out how to put this whole thing together. I think that piece goes on top, and the middle piece probably goes on top of that piece. It does, and we're gonna cut here because we gotta put the bottom pieces to the middle piece. So we're gonna screw everything in. We're gonna slowly screw it in. First, you have to slowly screw it, and then you screw it a little faster. First, remember that, kids. Slow screw, and then the fast screw. The slow screw takes a little while, as it should. Gotta take your time with it, and make sure you're doing everything right. Make sure all the pieces are fitting where they need to be. Remember, don't put the screws in the wrong holes. Alright, so now we're gonna go a little bit faster, because now the slow screw is good. So now, like I said, slow screw and then fast screw. Slow and then fast. Remember that. It's very important. Please do not mess this up. I'm giving you life tips here. This is like, you'll never learn this anywhere else in life, except for experience. But then by that time, it'll be bad. The threads will be all messed up if you do it the wrong way first. If you do the fast screw first and the slow screw after. Okay, so that's done. And as you can see, it's not exactly flat, which is why we have these bottom stickery parts. That way, everything's all nice and even in the bottom here, because it's protruding out a little bit. All right, so we got to do this a little bit faster since it takes a while to put them there, and got to put a little tiny bit of pressure. Just put a little pressure, not too much pressure though, not too much pressure, just a little tiny bit, and there we go. And now it looks like it's pretty even. It's perfect. Okay, so moving on to step 2. Now we got to attach the middle-y piece to the other middle-y piece. There's 2 middle-y pieces. And we have more screws to use, and the hexagonal key. I don't know, again, and the scissors. I don't know why they didn't use Phillips screws. It just makes things so much easier. And there's the middle-y piece that we have to connect to the other middle-y piece. All right, and so let's start cutting into these little plastic baggies here. I decided to use scissors and not my knife because I couldn't find my knife. I lost it again. I hate losing it. It's so tiny, and it's easy to lose, and it's just annoying sometimes. I don't know. So when I don't find the knife, I have to use the scissors, and so that's fine because scissors are like 2 knives connected to each other, which sometimes makes it a little bit easier to handle. Okay, so we don't need the scissors anymore. All right. And once again, we're going to need to do the slow screw first. Remember, kids, slow screw, then fast screw. So we're going to do the slow screw first just to make sure that we're doing it right. And, we're going to make sure everything's perfect. Alrighty, and then use the hexagonal key, and then the fast screw. Here we go. So slow, fast, slow, fast. Slow, slow, fast. No, well, just slow it first, make sure it's right, and then you do the fast. Okay, yeah, so looks like everything's going really well. I think these screws will definitely hold it in place. They seem to be strong and sturdy enough to be able to hold the 1,000-pound thing. Okay, so step 3. Now we have to attach those little tiny pieces that you saw before to the monitor itself. Again, using screws. And thankfully, somehow, these are the Phillips screws. So those are the little tiny pieces that we're going to be attaching to the monitor. And I don't know why they didn't just use Phillips screws from the beginning, and they wanted to complicate everything where some are hex screws and some are regular screws. I don't understand. I don't understand these companies. You know, why don't they just make it? It's universal. It should be a universal screw. You'd think it'd be universal screws, but no. It's multiple different types of screws for a universal stand. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, you guys are so smart. I don't know what I'm thinking with life. I mean, maybe that's why I don't have my own company, is because I keep things in a different way. Things that make sense to me, I guess, don't make sense to other people. Anyways, you got to line it up, make sure that the holes line up where they need to be. There's a little bit of leeway, as you guys can see. With the bottom parts, the holes are a little bit wider and longer. I should say, not wider, longer. Just in case you need to adjust. It's very important because not all monitors are created the same. Which reminds me of a quote by Thomas Jefferson. Anyways, so we're going to take these little screws out, and we're going to attach them to the... Oh, gotta realign my little piece here. That's okay, I'll do that later. So aside from the little tiny screws, there seems to be little tiny plates that you use as well, and they're kind of like a washer. I don't know why they call them washers. They don't wash anything. They're just kind of like an in-between between the screw and whatever you're screwing. It's weird. It's weird. Who names these things? I don't know. There's lots of questions I have for people in the world, and unanswerable questions. Whatever. So you got to put the screw in the washer or whatever little metal plate and make sure that the right screw is in the right thing, the right hole. Again, remember, you got to make sure it's the right hole. Remember that. It's very important. There's 3 different holes because there's three different size screws, because their monitors come, again, not all monitors are created equal, and so, of course, you know, some monitors have bigger holes, some have smaller holes, but it doesn't matter whether they have bigger or smaller holes. You know, a hole is a hole and it's good. So, that's all that matters. If a screw can fit into a hole, that's all you need. Alright, so slow screw was done already, so now we're doing the fast screws, and we should be good. Just tighten it a little bit with the screwdriver here. Make sure that it's all nice and tight, so that it doesn't fly off. Alright, step 4. Now that everything is all assembled, all you have to do is just simply put the monitor with the little tiny things that we attached onto the middle piece and the other middle piece that's attached to the bottom piece now. And so you just got to be careful, and like so. There you go. That's just kind of move it around, and that's it. That's basically it. I don't really know what else I could show you guys. That's what it's supposed to look like.